The festive football is well and truly underway with the big fixture headlining this weekend, Liverpool versus Arsenal at Anfield. Two teams potentially pushing for the title. So today we thought we would do a combined 11, picking the squad, Arsenal and Liverpool players only from the current sides. Let's get straight into it. Roll that intro. Welcome to the Lost in Possession podcast. If you are here for the first time, it is, of course, the season of giving. So please do give us a cheeky hit of that like button and a subscribe while you're there as well. But without further ado, let's get straight into the episode. Combined 11, combined XI for the Liverpool and Arsenal teams. We're all going to say our piece, and then we're going to try and pick a total combined lost in possession, combined 11. So, obviously, we'll start in goal. Jamie, let's come to you first. Arteta can't seem to decide between his own team. Is there any debates for you in the goalkeeping position?
Absolutely not, and I'll be surprised if either of you change as well. Yeah, like you said, Arteta's got to try and pick between Raya and Ramsdale. I don't need to worry about that for this. It's Alisson, hands up. He is the best goalie in the league at the moment. That's it. It's. I think it's a God given.
Reese, any disagreements from you on the keeper?
No, I don't need to say anything else.
Enough said. Yeah, as I said, Arteta can't make up his mind for his own team. Potentially neither of them are good enough. You could argue if he can't decide. So yeah, I've gone Alisson as well. No debates needed there. Let's move on. And just before, I didn't say it in the intro, but we are going to be doing our score predictions for the match at the end of this episode as well. So make sure you stick around. In defence, let's start with the right back. Now, Trent feels like the obvious pick. However, Ben White in particular has been fairly impressive over the last season or so in that right back role. Is there any arguments from you guys? Have you made a case for Ben White? Or are we going with Trent? Or is there someone else I've completely missed?
If you said last season, I'm picking Ben White. It wasn't close either. It was Ben White because Trent's form was poor, very poor last season. However, he has turned it around this season. I don't think he's been as good as what the media are making out. I think he's still got the defensive issues that he's always had, but Liverpool are trying to work around it by then shoving him a little bit into midfield. But current form, I think Ben White's been okay, but not too brilliant either. So I'm going to go Trent. But like I said, I don't think this was like a foregone conclusion because he still does have the defensive problems.
Reese, are you backing your boy?
No, it has to be Trent. To be fair, I do love Ben White, and I think if you want a more defensive approach, Ben White is better at that. Trent is probably a more modern right back where he gets forward. I mean, he's got 7 assists, I think, in all competitions this season, which is very impressive. If he wants to move into midfield, he can. I don't think you can do that with Ben White. You could put Ben White as centre back, but you can't put Ben White further up the pitch like that. Both very effective players, but both very different players. But I think Trent is one you would put ahead of him, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And for everything we've said about Ben White, for me, I actually don't think this is that close. I still think Trent is leagues above him in terms of overall quality. He's shown it consistently over the years. He's won so many trophies. You'd put him in your team over Ben White, in my opinion, every day of the week. So for me, I actually don't think it's much of a debate. So I went Trent as well. Jamie,
It's
you look
just
like you
more
had something to add.
I just feel like if you're going off if you're going off a defend, I've picked Trent, but if you're going off a defender and you want to defend a game, you'd pick Ben White over Trent. So I think it's harsh to say that it's Trent all day every day, and especially if you look at how they both performed last season. I know we're doing current now, so that's why I've picked Trent. But last season, Ben White was completely ahead of Trent last season. So I think it's a bit harsh what you just said there.
Yeah, fair enough. As always, Liverpool Arsenal fans, let us know your thoughts on that one in the comments. Moving on to the centre backs. So I've got a suspicion that we probably are all in agreement here. Can't speak today. I'll start with mine. So I've gone with the Rolls Royce, Virgil van Dijk, and Saliba. Don't need to say too much on them. Both been fairly consistent and impressive. Some might say Van Dijk's maybe dropping off a bit, but you still pick him over the overwhelming majority of centre backs in the league. Any disagreements from you guys, or is that one fairly safe?
Fairly safe. I mean, let's be honest, no defenders are getting past them two, are they? I like players like Joe Gomez, but he's not Saliba standard, and Gabriel is not as good as the other two. I think Gabriel could play alongside one of those, but as a whole, they're the best centre back pairing.
Yes, I think it's quite a simple one. Saliba, Van Dijk, both being called, as you said, Rolls Royces. Both of them now. It's sort of the old Rolls Royce and the new one. Yeah, they've both been. I think they've both been really good this season. So I don't think there's any argument. And I think they get into most, if not all, sides in the world. So pretty straightforward there.
Bold statement on Saliba, I'd say, but he is good. He is good. All right, we pretty much agree so far. Let's go to the left back side. Again, I'll kick off my one. I still would say it's Zinchenko. Obviously, Robertson's out injured at the minute, so you can maybe put him in the conversation. I don't know how we viewed that one, but I still like Zinchenko. I think he has impressed since joining Arsenal, shown leadership qualities. I know he's not been playing every single game, but that's due to other reasons. But yeah, for me, I went with Zinchenko still.
Yeah, I had a problem with this one. I actually don't want either as my left back. To be perfectly honest, the answer is Robertson, but he's out, so that's why I've not picked him. And then it's Tsimikas and Zinchenko, or even Gomez sometimes plays there. I just think you probably have to go Zinchenko, just because I think he's got a bit more quality on the ball than the others. So yes, I agree with Zinchenko, but like I say, for defending wise, I don't think we've got a very good left and right back for defending. So we're hoping that the centre backs are like rock solid. They're a complete brick wall, but leaky around the side.
Reese, who did you go for?
Yeah, I mean, if you went for form, if you base this on form, then you can't put Robertson in because he's not played. I mean, Tomiskas a good player, but you know, Robertson wouldn't go there. I put Robertson because I think he's overall better player. I think Zinchenko's good, and again, if you want to move him around the pitch, you can. But I think Robertson is better player. But I actually almost put Tomiyasu in. He's been playing at left back a lot. He's got 3 assists this season, and he's been putting in minimum solid 7 out of 10s every game. It was close, but overall, if you did have to pick between him and Robertson, you are going to go Robertson as much as I do like Tomiyasu.
All right, so a little bit of disagreements there, but let's move on to the midfield because I think this is going to get interesting. I think there's probably one or two obvious ones. Let's start with the CDM position. Again, we might play different formations, but let's just assume we've got for now only one CDM. The £100 million man. There was a petition that Arsenal should have paid 200 mil because he's that good, apparently. Not like Arsenal fans overhype players. Declan Rice, I assume we'll get him out of the way. I assume both of you have gone for him.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's Rice. He's better than what Endo can do. Like, this isn't any disregards to him or even like McAllister. Rice is the second. I think probably the second best CDM in the league. And some people disagree with me with Rodri, but I'll take my City bias.
Arsenal fans will probably disagree with that. Rice is the greatest player to ever play the game, I think. Reese, I assume you've gone for Rice as well.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. I think he's changed Arsenal in general, hasn't he? In his few months he's been here. But yeah, I think it has to be Rice. Although that petition is pretty ridiculous because I don't get why you'd ever want to pay more money for something when you've already paid. So
I think 100 mils more than enough.
let's just hope that
Right.
those fans aren't in economics or anything like that, or run a business, because they'd be out of business within a week.
All right, let's move on. Reese, we'll come straight back to you actually. Who's your second midfielder and why?
Yep. So if we're looking a bit further up the pitch, I've gone for this is where the creativity happens. The players that are going to get the ball rolling. So on one side of it, I've gone for Martin Odegaard, which I think is a no-brainer. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's very creative. He can pass the ball, with his eyes closed. So he has to be in there.
And Jamie, who's your second?
My second, I haven't actually gone Odegaard in either of my two, so the no-brainer. I've gone against it. I just don't think he's been that great this season. I think he's been okay, but I don't think he's been the level he was showing last season. So weirdly, based off the form that's coming on, I can't believe I'm saying this from the start of the season, but I've got Havertz in. I think Havertz is at the moment at a better level than what Odegaard's doing, and he's performing. He's the one getting the goals to actually get Arsenal back in games and picking up wins like the one against Brentford. So 60 million down the drain, Kai Havertz scores again, and he's in my team. I've picked him. Overall quality, don't get me wrong, it's Odegaard every day of the week. But for current form, I've gone with Havertz.
That is a fair point. I mean, I think Havertz is that big game player. I think Odegaard has a habit of dropping off, and I think Odegaard is, yes, he has dropped form despite 7 goals. I think that's probably because Rice has been so good. It's probably meant that the pressure's elevated on him and the team could contribute more, but it's a fair point.
Yeah, I think a little bit of the creativity has been shifted from Odegaard this season. I think he was out a few games as well, if I'm not mistaken. But despite Havertz turning up here and there, I'd still pick, and I still did pick Odegaard. He is a better. To be honest, I do kind of agree with what you're saying, Jamie. In the last few games in particular, Havertz been a little bit, obviously he's got the goal, so naturally the narrative is going to be Havertz was better, but every day of the week, trust me, again, I'm making the same points here, but don't get carried away because he scored a late header against Brentford and a consolation goal for a 2-0. He is not the guy. And the 60 mil is still down the drain. So I've gone Odegaard. Now, I'll go on to my third midfielder, and I don't think we'll all agree with this one. I've gone for Szoboszlai. Now, he didn't have a great game in the Man United game, but other than that, he has been very, very good for Liverpool. Hard working in midfield, good passing range, and he can score screamers. I've been impressed with him personally. And yeah. Out of the other options in midfield at the minute, I would just about edge it to him. Disagreement?
I agree. I've got him in. Yeah, he was my third choice. Looking at the Liverpool midfield, I don't think it's still as good as it used to be. Obviously, they're rebuilding it. It will take a bit of time. I think he's fitted in quite nicely. Like you said, yeah, he had a bad game against United, but I think majority of Liverpool players did in the attacking sort of sense. So I don't think one game holds him back. I'd put him in there. I think McAllister's done all right, but I would pick him over McAllister definitely for form this season.
Reese, what about you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Szoboszlai. I had to put him in. 4 goals, 3 assists. I think he's a midfielder that Liverpool haven't had. He's not. He's very similar to Odegaard. I think he's not Steven Gerrard or anything like that, but he's perfect for today's modern game. I'm not the biggest fan of McAllister. I think he is a bit overrated, but nonetheless, he's still been a good signing for him. But Szoboszlai, to me, I think you'd want him in your team.
Nice. So joint team is Odegaard just about makes the cut. Honourable mention to Havertz and of course Declan Rice and Szoboszlai with a clean sweep. Right, let's get on to the attackers, the interesting bit, and we'll start with a big debate. So none of this versatile moving positions around. On the right wing position, Is it Salah? Is it Saka? Reese, are you backing your own boy or have you gone with Salah?
I've put Salah there. He obviously, if this was a dream team, then him and Trent would link up well, obviously. But Salah is Mohamed Salah. He turns up in pretty much every game. Who's more likely to turn up at Man City away? Salah's going to get a goal or Saka? Salah's going to get that goal. Who can you give a penalty to in the last minute, to win you a cup or whatever? Salah will more likely do it. And that's not slagging off Saka because he's a lot younger.
Saka will give it
I
away.
I
He'll
just
give
think
a pity penalty to
it's
Havertz,
yeah.
who hasn't scored this week.
Yeah, the kit man.
Penalty. So you choose Salah on that.
Give it to the kit man. I think Salah is overall an all-round better player. He's proven it time and time again. And hasn't the guy got like 100 league goals within the space of another couple of years or something, which is insane record. So can't knock it.
Yeah, look, I'm agreeing. It's Salah. I think he's not got a goal or an assist in a game twice this season. The rest he has. That's what you call consistency. And as much as sort of people praise Saka for his consistency, it's not on Salah's level. I think it's very good, Saka, don't get me wrong, but Salah is another level of like a world beater. And I don't think Saka's quite there yet. He could be, but right now you pick Salah over Saka for me.
Yeah, clean sweep for Salah then. Some Arsenal fans will be upset with this, but simple reality is, Reece, you covered it nicely. Who's going to score in that big game? Who's going to score that penalty? Who's going to turn up? And the reality is, Salah's been doing it for a lot longer and clearly still has it. But yeah, we all know how good Saka is and can be, but he's not better than Salah yet, sadly. Striker position. So I assume we've kind of all gone for a sort of, I guess a lot of them aren't really strikers as such, but centre forwards, whatever you want to call them. Jamie, we'll come back to you. Who did you go for and why?
I've gone with Gabriel Jesus. The problem I have is sort of neither of them are banging in goals left, right, and centre. And I actually think Nunez is in that position to do that. Whereas Jesus brings more and brings other players into the game better than what Nunez does. So I would rather have a Jesus than a Nunez because I have no idea what Nunez is going to do, and I don't think he does. He'll get the ball, and I reckon he will at some point this season score a 30-yard screamer. But then you'll also see him miss from 2 yards out. Whereas Jesus isn't going to get you that 30-yard screamer, but will consistently link up better with whoever your left and right wingers are, and brings more people into the game. I think they probably will end up around the same amount of goals this season in the Premier League anyway. So I pick Jesus, but I think Liverpool fans love Nunez, but I don't see it personally at the moment. I think it could come good in a few years, but right now, I don't think he's at a top level.
Okay, I mean, yeah, to be honest, I agree. Again, I don't think it was clear cut, but I also did go with Jesus for similar reasons. I think Nunez causes more of an issue for defenders because he's so busy, he gets the runs in behind, he is a bit of a lunatic almost, or he's unpredictable at least. And therefore by default harder to mark, harder to maybe play against. But the link up play, the way Jesus just brings the whole team together, I think he is just a level above at the minute. So yeah, for me it was him. Gakpo, don't know. He's
Wasn't even in my thoughts.
no. I feel like he's getting there, but I guess if he's not starting for Liverpool consistently, then he shouldn't really be in contention, I guess. But again, he's not a natural striker. Reese, any disagreements?
Yes, I actually went Darwin Nunez. Look, I think Gabriel Jesus is great. I mean, the guy's got 7 goals this season, or probably more than that, actually. Yeah, 7 goals, 3 assists. Yes, his link up play is very good. I think the way he can turn a player is outstanding. But I think there are aspects of it. I think Darwin is a bit more of an explosive striker. Reminds me very much of how Rooney used to be when he was young. Don't get me wrong, they are very different players. And I do think in some ways Nunez and Jesus are probably at the wrong clubs. I think they should swap over. I think you'd see particularly different performances from them both. But I like Darwin Nunez a lot. I think he's just absolute explosion. I mean, the guy's got 8 assists this season, which is mad for a centre forward. So yeah, I like him a lot. If he sorts out his hot-headedness, I think, he'll probably do a lot more. But yeah, he'll get you a 30-yard screamer and other goals. But he needs to sort out his finishing as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a player there, no question. I think it's just frustrating. It's like, it's just, there's something in there, but you don't know what's coming.
Him and the Haaland comparison hasn't helped, has it? Both sign at the
No.
same time. That hasn't helped, and I don't think that's very fair on them because they are 2 different players.
I mean, he was better than Haaland, in the Community Shield last season.
Yeah, he was. One game only.
The comparison stopped there, but he was better then. Liverpool fans were raving about it, saying they've got the dream signing. Never mind.
Let's move on. Last but not least, the all-important left wing position. I don't think we're all going to agree on this, actually. So I'll start with my pick, and might be considered a little bit rogue, but I've gone Luis Diaz. Arsenal fans again might be screaming at the monitors, going, "What on earth? How can you leave Martinelli out of it?" And maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But for me personally, I just love Luis Diaz as a player. I just think he's more skillful. He's more threatening. And although the stats don't really back it up, I think he's a better finisher, in my opinion. So again, that's a bit more of a personal pick, not based on stats. But if I had a choice, I'd probably just go Luis Diaz. But I might have done Martinelli a bit dirty there. Where did you guys sit on this one?
I struggled. It was like, to be fair, I think it's not completely rogue picking Diaz. I think it's out of Diaz and Martinelli. It's a straight. I think Trossard is good, but I think he's better as an impact player, and that's sort of what's done him quite well when playing for Arsenal. And I think it's been a great signing for him. But just, I still think Martinelli's better than him, and he does start more of the time. I did struggle. I'm probably like, I think I've gone Martinelli. I'm like 51 Martinelli, 49 like percent wise. Diaz, it's just that close, I think. I think he's a very good player, Martinelli, and I think he's got a much higher ceiling than what Diaz can come with. But I don't mean that in any disrespect to Diaz. I think he's a great footballer, really. But yeah, I've got Martinelli in mine.
Reece?
I'm not sure Reece will agree though.
I've put Saka because he actually can play at left wing, and he actually, when Arteta first joined, he put Saka at left back, funnily enough, left wing back. So he's a winger by trade. So I put him there. You can call it cheating, but that's proof that it's not.
Left
overall,
winger.
Yeah, he was put a left wing back originally. Yeah, so he can play there. Might be a bit more uncomfortable for him, but he'd be outstanding there. I do think, yes, Luis Diaz is good. Martinelli can outrun any player, and he's the best finisher at the club. But overall, I just don't think he turns up when the going gets tough. I think Saka is perfect for that position.
Well, this is tough.
I think that's a cop out, Reece. To be perfectly honest, I
guess
Saka's position is right wing though.
Yeah,
but he plays at left wing. He was.
But if I did a City one, I wouldn't have Bernardo Silva left back because he played there once.
Yeah, but Saka could play both positions anyway. It's just he's made better on a right wing, but he wasn't actually on the left side.
Well, I guess the question is, would you rather have Saka slightly out of position rather than Diaz or Martinelli? Maybe some people would. Maybe some people would.
I'd say so because I think he showed it. You could probably even put Salah on the left wing if you really wanted to. He could probably contribute to both sides.
But doing that, I'd put Salah up front, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Now we're getting confusing.
It gets confusing.
All right, we're gonna have to decide on one for the left wing for our joint team here.
I'm more likely to go Diaz than Saka. So I concede Martinelli, but just because Saka is a right winger,
Yeah.
and that will be his position for the next 20 odd games we've got left in the league.
Fair.
If you're
Reece.
to changing each week, then I think you've got a better argument for it.
Yeah. He just
It's,
didn't want Saka being left out.
it's outrageous and unreasonable everyone's being. I'm sure people would comment and agree with me, but just to make life easier, let's just put Diaz there.
All right, fine. We'll settle on Diaz. And again, pause the video right now. Put a comment below. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? And tell us what club you support, by the way. Because probably if you say Saka, you're going to support Arsenal. If you say Salah, you're probably Liverpool. So make sure you put the club comment as well. Cool. So correct me if I'm wrong. Our joint final XI is as follows: Alisson in goal, Trent right back, Van Dijk, Saliba in the centre, Zinchenko on the left, Rice in the middle, Odegaard in the middle, Szoboszlai in the middle, Salah right wing, Jesus in the middle, and Diaz on the left. There you go. That's a winning side right there. But as promised at the start of the episode, we will also now give you our score predictions for the big one on Saturday night. I will kick things off. I think it's going to be a great game. I hope it's not a repeat of Liverpool United, boring 0-0. I think because of Anfield, we've not got much time, but let's just quickly talk about Klopp's comment, by the way. Fans have to be fit enough to attend the game. Where do you even start with that? Completely ridiculous.
Thing is, managers do it. Pep's done it before in certain ways. I don't like to be fair, I haven't heard the exact comment, but if he has said if you're not fit enough for it, I understand it. I think he means that in more you've been drunk the night before or whatever.
Yeah.
In terms of that, but people pay their money. People got season tickets. They can do what they want. You're the one who's meant to entertain them, not the other way around. So I think I don't really like it when managers go at fans. They're paying the money. Okay, it doesn't exactly pay your wage, but it kind of does. So they can do exactly what they want for however they feel. Obviously within laws and rules sort of thing. But in terms of if they want to sing, they'll sing. If they don't, they don't. If they want to boo, they can boo. That's how I see it.
Yeah, completely agree, to be honest. Nonetheless, I do think whether it's Klopp's comments or whether it's just the fact it's a Christmas Saturday and everyone probably be pissed up from about 9 a.m., I think Anfield will be rocking. So I think it will just give Liverpool the edge. So I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. What are you guys saying?
I'm going to go a bit more. I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. I think Arsenal haven't been the best defensively as much this season. I think they've conceding 3 at Luton. That's not good enough. I know there was goalie mistakes. I feel like Liverpool will win 3-1 and more goals conceded for Arsenal.
Yeah, so just on the fit comment, I mean, judging by the 11 we've chosen, none of them players are often regularly fit. So we're going to have quite a lot of injury-prone players in that team, just reflecting back on that. So we probably won't get a starting 11 at all. I think this is another example of when it comes to the crunch, Arsenal can't deliver. They will lose, and they will probably lose about 1-0. If they want to win, if they have a chance of winning, they have to score first. And they've shown time and time again when these atmospheres happen, when Klopp gets that reaction that he wants from them comments, he will get them. Man United Liverpool wounded animal last week, were cheesed off. They couldn't beat United, so they come back thrashed West Ham. They're going to smell blood again. Arsenal are not good enough to go to Anfield and win. 2 weeks ago, probably they could have done, but no, they're not going to do it. They're not good enough.
What if they do?
I've got one thing for Arteta.
If they
don't do what he did last year,
yeah,
where you riled up the crowd when you're on top. Don't do that, you idiot. I know he watches. I'm sure he does. He watches it every week. So, hi to Arteta. Listen to me. Don't rile up the crowd. Just let your team perform the way they should.
Yeah, Arsenal fans, share the pod. Get it to Arteta. Thank you.
You need that if you want to win.
Yeah, Reece. What if you do win? Surely you got to
And
you go and be Liverpool at Anfield in your current form, top of the league.
then that's
You're going to win the
then
league.
that's the, well, if they want to win the league, they have to get points at these grounds, and time again they've failed to do that. So this is their first chance to do it. It's their first chance to do it, and it's now or never isn't the harshest word, but they want to open the gap up now, I suppose. So they have no choice, and this is a game perfect for Kai Havertz if he wants to get that 1-0 win, so to speak. But I honestly, I just don't think they're good enough. They've proven it time and time again.
Fair enough. Well, that just about wraps us up. As always, send us your score predictions below as well. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill.
Here we go.